Hello, everybody. It is Professor Rocco, your boy here, coming at you again with another Age of Sigmar masterclass. And in this class, I'm here to help you, as always, and tell you how to win more games of Age of Sigmar. Now, I've got three, count them, three easy tips that we can use to build off our smart deployment video. So we're going to start off right into this jump in. Number one, focus on scoring rather than killing your opponent's units. Now, I know everybody's like, yeah, let's go kill everything. It's a war game. Ah, wog. Yeah, don't do that. So we're focusing on scoring here because most of these scenarios that you're going to play in these battle plans involve scoring points. There's 1 to 5 to 8 to however many objectives. You got to hold a bunch of them. You score points either through secondaries, bringing bonus points on. There's auxiliary objectives. There's all kinds of things. It's all based on scoring, not killing. Yes, there are some auxiliary objectives that involve you killing your opponent's units. And that's fine. But again, they're tiebreaker scenarios for the most part in auxiliaries. Some tournaments count them as straight up points, and if you can deny your opponent scoring them by, say, not letting them kill your stuff through smart movement, more power to you. And the other thing, too, to be noted here, if you table your opponent, you do not automatically win. If you get tabled, you're probably going to be the one that wins because your opponent was so focused on fighting you and not scoring objectives, they're going to be down in score. And also, just going around tabling people just to kind of be a dick, don't do that. You're going to discourage new players. We're about building up the community here. This channel, we're anti-gatekeeper, and you know who you are. So, tip number 2, block your opponent's ability for being able to move strategically. All right, Rocco, that sounds a hell of a lot easier than it is to do. Well, let me explain this and walk you through this, all right? Because really, you're going to love to see it. So, what you want to do is deny your opponent places to move. Let's say someone's got their pregame movements, their running charges, retreating charges, flying. That's great. At the end of the day, though, they have to end their movement outside of 3 inches of your troops and your units and your heroes and your army. So if we can do this smart, like with checkers or like a chess player, like they're manipulating the board through the movement of their pieces and their different plays, we can prevent our opponents from having juicy places to teleport, and we can actually determine where they're going to come on the board by what spots we leave open. If we want to bait a nice little trap to be like, hey, kill my little support hero over here, that's 100 points, that's, 10 feet away from the objective. You're like, I'm going to leave that open and let them go for that, and then I'm just going to walk onto the points and score. And this is where, like, armies like Karajan Overlords and even Seraphon to an extent can see some weaknesses and some cracks in their perfect armor there. They have to have a place to land when they teleport. Or when they're Fangs of Sotek and move the 11 inches and they can run and charge and shoot. And just different armies that can do that. This is where we have our chaff units from the list building discussions that we've had too, and even our friend the Humble Skink, if you are the Seraphon player, and you wanted to throw up some tens of skinks to protect your 40 blocks, this is where we come in with that. By having these chaff units built in and these screens and these anvils that we've built on previously in other videos, we can take up board space to protect our damage units, our hammers, that we will use not to table our opponent, but to clear objectives off for us to get onto them. Also, as a part of this, if we are given first turn against something like Karajan Overlords or someone that has a teleporter or something crazy, you know what we can do? Move up onto the objective. Hear me out. If we are on the objective, again, if they're teleporting in, they have to be 9 inches away from us. Wholly outside of 9 inches. Objectives are 6-inch circles in Age of Sigmar. Sometimes you go down to a 3-inch circle, depending on what you're playing. They can't land on it. And if they're a shooting army like KO, they're not going to want to get into combat. So they're going to try to shoot us off or shoot as many of us off as possible. Then we smartly pull our models to make their charges harder. So now they've got to make a 10, a 12-inch charge. And then, if they actually do kill us off, even then, they'd still have to charge onto the objective. So they can't move onto it. There's no one to fight there. They don't score. We do this with enough expendable chaff, You know what? These are our, our 40-point Aether Wings in a 3-pack sitting on an objective. They're going to die. They don't have an armor save. They can't get onto the objective themselves. We denied them scoring. We denied them the proper space to land for a teleport to perfect world, tap the objective with a big ass boat, shoot your birds dead, and not have to do anything else. So, again, point two, the ability to block your opponent's movements is huge. And we can do this with our own pregame moves, our own running charges, just like our opponent can. A lot of armies have similar toolboxes to work with here. And it's how do we utilize it while they're still trying to kill us? Because again, tip one, we're scoring rather than killing. Tip two, we're using strategic movement to stop them from scoring. And this goes into tip three here. Engage in combat only to prevent your opponent's movements. You're like, Rocco, that's stupid. That's stupid. They've got their hammer units coming everywhere. I see the kill, man. Red in my eyes. Blood from the blood god. Skulls from the skull throat. And there are some armies where, yeah, that's great. But overall, what you want to do, again, is stop your opponent from getting onto the objective. That's what we're playing for here. This is this high level, big brained kind of crap that we're going for. Now, even if like people have like retreat and charge, again, they cannot end a movement within 3 inches of us. Even if they can fly, and this is where Nighthaunt's good but not great, because they can charge in, then retreat out in their turn and go through. If they fly over us. Fine. That's cool. One army's good at that. The rest aren't. And if we can pick our fights with our movement tricks in order to stop an opponent from getting onto the objectives. Like I love my Living City army, right? Let me just straight I love it. I'm known for my fulminators. They move 20 inches. They smack you on the charge. I have movement tricks for days, and the consensus is it is one of the most consistent armies in the cities of Sigmar because of these movement tricks that I have. I can pick the time and place we fight. I deep strike in, shoot and move. I can come in from table edges. If I'm bringing Shadow Warriors, I can drop down a unit of 10 Shadow Warriors, shoot you off an objective, and then spend a command point to move on to it. I can pick my fights. What we need to do here with this tip 3 is pick your fights smartly. Just the other day, I was playing 3 Places of Arcane Power with my Living City army versus some Seraphon from a dear friend of mine. Goes by Katif on Discord. We have a weekly game to help get them ready for their tournaments and stuff, and we drew that scenario. So I actually gave away first turn, and I knew that they couldn't move up onto the objectives. So I already denied them movement just by giving them the turn. And if they wanted to teleport a hero up, you know what? Then they're just in my kill zone, you know? And they tried to teleport Skinks up to try to deny me easy movement and charges and stuff. But I was able to use my movement on my turn to still tag 3 objectives. I'm scoring, it's 3-0, right? Nice and easy. I did not get the turn, and actually I lost 3 out of the 4 heroes in my list. But I kept enough of my stuff in deep strike and reserve in order to make sure that I still have to be screened out against. So my opponent has to waste their movement holding their stuff back to try to prevent me. Because again, we're playing on the same high level here. So now I have most of my army in reserve. I have a hero that's actually a Flamespire Phoenix with 4 Feel No Pain at this point. And my opponent put in 800 points of their army to kill off a Hurricane with a Wizard. Just giving you the whole walkthrough here. Now, I'm able to use my movement again so that I'm screening out points on my turn with non-hero units, because you have to score with the hero. But again, they don't score points. And I, in my turn, am able to move up units of Phoenix Guard to hold the 2 points hostage. They can't score, but my opponent can't score either. And now I score another 2 points thanks to my Phoenix, because you hold it for as long as you hold it, you score that many points. So now my Phoenix is alive, held it for 2, turns, I'm up to 5 points. It's 5-0 right now. And I win priority and I give it away because I know my opponent is only going to score maybe 1 point, maybe two, but she has to teleport in order to try to fight my Phoenix and cannot bring her full army to bear onto my one hero. That, by the way, I gave an artifact to heal an extra wound in my hero phase. So I'm up to full. And so what my opponent brings to bear is a unit of 40 skinks. It's a hammer, which again our friend the skink went through, and a Bastiladon that had mortal wounds coming off it. It was hitting on threes, rerolling ones. The skinks were all super buffed as well. And you know what? I lived on 4 wounds because of my saves and my after saves. And, with my command trait, I'm a 3-up armor save. If I get a spell up, I'm a 2-up. Great. And then I can use my movement now for what's left in my reserves, which is a unit of fulminators, 4 fulminators, that I come in and I pick my fight so that all I have to do to win the game is kill the 40 block of skinks. And then nothing in her army will be in position, have the numbers for the teleport to do damage to me, and I win because I have denied enough space, I've denied enough time, and I've picked my fights. And also, I wiped the hell out of that 40 block of skinks because I had to force her to teleport them up without having a hero in range to auto pass their battle shock. No, I killed 30, the other 10 just ran away, and my hero stayed alive. And then, even better, to put the icing on the cake, I won the priority. I double moved my fulminators and killed one of her heroes on an objective to stop her from scoring. I win on points because my ability and my game plan was using my movement. We focused on scoring. I blocked my opponent's movement. And I picked my fights when I needed to fight them. And just like that, if you follow those 3 tips, and again, I focused on scoring rather than killing my opponent's units. I blocked my opponent's ability for strategic movement through uses of teleports and run and try and all that stuff to stop them from scoring points. And then number 3, I picked my fight and engaged in combats I needed to prevent my opponent from getting good movements onto objectives or killing my stuff that were holding objectives. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to class. This has been your professor, Rocco, your boy, coming at you again. And I want to thank you for watching, like and subscribe. Help this channel grow. We're almost at 300 subscribers. We've been at this for a month. 300 subscribers. Our team here is very happy to keep providing this content, and here's to many, many more months and many, many more videos. Again, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And like always, after a video, I'll say, class dismissed.